My name is Szymoniak. I am what is called as the Director for Faculty Development. In long short, I kind of help the instructors to be able to improve their instructional delivery and their strategies within your classroom. If you've been up in Building D, you've probably seen me standing there with a coffee cup and those two double doors going, man, what's he doing? Must be nice to have a coffee cup and drink coffee all day. I do a little bit more than that, ladies and gentlemen. The purpose of this afternoon is to be able to go over a very important topic that the college feels is very important. And it's what we call as critical thinking. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Dude, you're going to be sitting here talking to me about thinking? I already know how to think. Look, I'm dressed, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you. My instructor told me to come here or else I'm going to get 5 or 10 points taken off, so I'm here. What's the big deal about thinking? Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because we have a lot of assumptions when it comes to critical thinking and what critical thinking is. But today, this is what I'm going to do, is that I'm going to show you a process to be able to improve your critical thinking, not only here at the school, but also too where you work and your life and everything that you do. Because bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, everything that you do and all your successes and all your failures are due to the amount of thinking that you do and the quality of thinking that you do. Okay? My purpose is to help you to be able to deliver a process and to be able to know how to be able to improve your critical thinking. So first of all, let's take a step back and wonder, hey, why am I here? I mean, gosh, I know how to think. Okay. Let me ask you a couple of questions. You ready? Be perfectly honest with me. I want to see a raise of hands right now of how many people can tell me. Okay, we got what, K through 12, maybe a couple of years at college. I want you to tell me the grade and maybe the teacher that sat you down and actually taught you how to think. Can you please stand up right now?
What?
That taught you how to think. Yeah. We got a couple of hands? Okay. Wow. You know what? I've been giving this presentation now for about a year now. And I can probably count on one hand the amount of people that somebody actually taught them. I mean, in a classroom to sit down and actually think. So we got 2 people out of probably approximately 60 people sitting there. You do the math as far as percentages. And of course, some of Mr. Murphy's teachers, oh man, he's going to talk about math? Come on. All right, let me ask you another question. You ready here? Today's Friday, right? I want you to think all the way back to last Friday. So that's a whole week, okay? 7 days. Can you tell me of a time in that 7 days to where you actually sat down, kind of put everything away, and sat down and actually thought about the process that you used to think? Okay? One person. Now, here's something else that I want to bring in light to you, okay? I don't want you sitting here going, oh God, he thinks I'm a moron. No, you're not that. I don't want you going on here thinking that, man, he thinks that we don't know how to think. But I want you to think about a couple of things real quick and why this is so important. Because as you see right here, where did we learn how to think? No one can really figure out where. It's like, oh, this thing that we naturally do. It's just like breathing air. I can think. But as you see here, it takes a big process to be able to think. It's very hard to do. If you don't believe me, let's go back last year. Can anybody think of the things that happened last year that were kind of bad? Well, what? We're in a recession, right? Over 250 banks have basically went bankrupt, right? Went down. We've got automobile industries going bankrupt. We got Toyota making a drastic, number one automotive, builder of vehicles. And here they're having recalls. We're having CEOs that are basically getting dropped down and actually being fired. And the reason being, we take a look at these people, and they are the epitome of education, intelligence. We look at them as being our leaders of the world and being able to take this nation. And they're making all these drastic problems. But now should I talk about crime rate? Should I talk about a national divorce rate of anywhere between 44-45%? How many people here know that Cameron County happens to be in the top 5 counties for dropout high school rates? Ooh, now we get a little bit deep, huh? And everyone's sitting here going, dude, man, stop with the negative waves, man. I'm supposed to be here relaxing and thinking about thinking. But what I'm trying to show you is this. Is thinking is very important. If all these people and all these problems that we're having are going on, where am I at when it comes to my thinking? Now, you're probably sitting here going, okay, I didn't know how to learn how to think, or no one sat down and taught me how to think in high school, and I'm not taking very much time on thinking, where exactly do we learn how to think? Let me give you a couple examples. Where do you think that you've actually based your foundation of thinking? Where do you usually get the process, or somebody's given you some type of talents or skills or thoughts about how to think? Anybody? Home? Family? Mom? Dad? Pops? Okay? You know, that's really great, but also, too, it brings up a couple things. It's what we call as egocentric thinking. Boy, that's a college word right on list time, huh? Yeah. What do I mean by egocentric thinking? Here, let me give you a couple demonstrations. And if I pick you, don't start getting offended. I'm simply using you as an example. Take, for instance, this lady right here. Okay? Born and raised, mom and dad, Catholic church, guns, the American flag, hot dogs, American apple pie. They believe in marriage between one man and one woman. Till death do us part. They believe in children. Have plenty of children. They don't believe in abortion. They believe in there is a right, there is a wrong. There is a 10 Commandments. There is no gray area. So where do you think all her decisions, everything that she thinks about is based on? That mode of thinking, correct? Now, take for instance this lady right here. Now we go over on the other spectrum. Here we go, we have parents that are a little bit more liberal, okay? It's like, hey, do whatever you want to. It's a free world, okay? You know, you can do anything that you want to as long as you don't get caught, okay? There's a lot of gray area. Hey, if you don't like the guy that you're married, okay, just divorce him and go get another guy. You're pregnant, you don't want the kid, go get an abortion. Okay? That's okay. Parking at disabled. You know, you got a disabled tag, it doesn't mean anything. You can get away with it and do anything that you want. So, where is his decisions and her thinking based on right now? Now think about it. Think about a corporate group type of session environment right now. And these two people are in here as part of a group. And they're trying to make decisions. And all of a sudden she brings something up, and all of a sudden she says, "You're a heathen, you're going to hell. How could you ever think of that? You know, damn you." And all of a sudden she looks at you and says, "You're a hypocrite. I don't believe in God. There's no such thing as God. You know, you're one way of mind." What do we have here? We have what is called as egocentric thinking. Egocentric thinking is simply a very focused, narrow-minded view that, hey, it's my way or the highway. When I think of this goal, it's my goal. It's the perfect goal. It's the only correct goal. Everybody else is wrong. So everybody else's thinking is wrong, mine's right. And that's where we get as far as egocentric thinking. Another place that we actually base our thinking on is what we call as aggravated ignorance. Ooh, another great word. What do I mean by aggravated ignorance? Here we go. Jessica Simpson, I think 4 or 5 years ago, she got on her blog and said, "Man, they got all these buffalo wings. Man, buffaloes will be going extinct in a while." And people on the blog were going, "Oh, really? Well, we need to do something about it." And you're like, oh my God. Well, what the bottom line is, and look, don't laugh, because we all in this classroom, even sometimes admittedly, I start doing it as well. What do I mean by activated ignorance? Is that all too often, you get a piece of information, or somebody tells you something, and you believe it to be knowingly true, when in all actuality, it's false. How many times have we had that? I mean, if I went up to this lady and said, "Do you know the moon's going to turn purple tonight?" "Oh, really? God, let me get my telescope out. My parents really like it. I got my digital camera ready." Okay? What happens when you take a look at Channel 4 News, or you look at national news? Do you believe everything that those people are saying without questioning the information? Do we actually begin a process to be able to question that? Or do we simply believe and go, "Oh, okay, we're going to die. The death clock is in, 2012. We're all going to die." And we all do that because we activate our ignorance and we never get the point of actually working through a process to be able to question it. Here's a couple other things, and I brought one of these things up. We have a lot of what we call as uninformed assumptions. We believe simply that, hey, thinking is natural. I breathe, thinking is natural. We do it. I just get it. It's like osmosis. It just comes out of the air and it soaks right into my brain. No, it isn't. Thinking is a process. Thinking is hard. You don't automatically do it. You have to use a process to be able to think well if you're going to be able to improve your thinking. If not, it's simply what we call as unreflective thinking. Meaning I simply make decisions and I think, like we're probably doing right now. Wouldn't it be really great if I took a magic wand and I had a little image right above your heads of what you're thinking of right now? Okay, go away with that, all right? But the bottom line is that it's unreflective. It has no purpose. And all too many times, we take this unreflective thinking, and all of a sudden we bring it into our personal and professional lives, and we start making decisions. Here, case in point. You all drive cars, right? Duh. All right. You get on the